everybody, it's me, Rebecca with Bexa Boss Lady, and I am here today to switch it up a little bit. This video is going to be talking about my 5 ultimate travel tips for people with chronic illness, specifically when you're flying. So this is a really tough time of the year. I'm filming this video around the holidays and New Year's, and I have been kind of just creeping on some people on social media and seeing a little bit of anxiety and stress and just nervousness about getting to where they need to be. How do they do it successfully without making it even more stressful than it needs to be? And I can tell you, as someone who suffers from several autoimmune diseases, plus I have chronic migraines, and we travel a lot, that I've kind of come to a realization that there are certain things that I can do to make my flying and airport experience better and more comfortable and less stressful. So today I'm going to talk about those 5 things that I do every time we go on a trip and we travel. Now you have to understand, we travel to conferences, we travel on vacation, we travel to visit our parents, and so we are probably in airports maybe once a month, maybe sometimes twice a month. We're always packing and unpacking, and so I have a lot of experience with this. And I'm gonna tell you a funny story. If you don't want to hear the story, just fast forward through the tips. But I was flying by myself, and we're on Southwest Airlines. I'm traveling by myself. I get on the plane, I got my headphones on, and for some reason I took my headphones off, which I normally don't do, especially now that you don't have to turn your phone off when you're taking off on an airplane. So I took my headphones off. I think I was looking for something down in my bag, and I heard them calling my name. You know, is Rebecca Black on the plane? Can you raise your hand? I'm like, okay, am I in trouble? And this was before the whole, United dragging the person off the plane drama. Like this was before that. So I raised my hand, and the flight attendant lady comes over to me and she says, "Honey, are you okay? How did you get on the plane by yourself?" And I'm like, I walked. Like, that's kind of a weird question to ask somebody, no? And she says, well, can I talk to you about your disabilities? Or your special needs, or I don't know. She said something like that. And I'm like, how do you know that I have special needs, right? And so she's like, she gets her little sheet out with her patients. Oh my God, that's how much I'm in doctor's appointments. With the people traveling on it, and she sees my name and she goes, well, that says here that you have nut allergies. Do you need us to not serve the peanuts? I'm like, I don't have any nut allergies. And the first thing I thought of is maybe I checked a different box because my husband is deathly allergic to tree nuts. So maybe for some reason I accidentally marked my seat as that too. So that question, I thought, okay, well, that makes more sense, right? And then she says, do you need a wheelchair? And I'm like, I just told you I walked on the plane. Why would I need a wheelchair? She says, well, it's on here that you need a wheelchair and you need assistance getting on off the plane. And I'm like, no, I got on the plane just fine. I think I can get off the plane just fine. Like, I think I'm okay. And then I can't remember, like, do you need a special assistance going to the bathroom? Like, I don't remember what the other question was. And I just looked at her, I said, well, why are you asking me all these questions? And she said, well, I thought it was a little strange that every single special need was checked on your ticket, because when we didn't see you and we had a wheelchair waiting for you up there, I'm like, okay, there's been a huge mistake. Like, I'm a disaster hot mess of a medical person, of a patient, but I don't need all of these special assistants. So it was nice to know that they actually do that, and I've heard wonderful things about Southwest Airlines, but unfortunately at that time I did not have every single special need that they could list on their thing. But it was quite comical, and I got a laugh out of it. And my husband thought it was hysterical because he's like, well, you are special needs, but we won't get into that. Okay, so here are my tips. Number one is be prepared. Now, I travel with a ton of medications, and it's not that I take a ton of medications every day. Most of them are as needed. So I only need to take them if I have a flare-up, or if I get a migraine, or if something happens, or I'm stressed, or whatever. So I travel with this huge bag. Let me get it. I travel with this bag, and this has, I mean, it has like regular medicine in it, and it has, you know, just basic stuff like that. Definitely has my poopery in it, because who doesn't travel with poopery? Right here, this gal. It has earplugs and a nail file, so it has all kind of that stuff in it. But then it also has about, I don't know, 12 prescription bottles in it. And like I said, 3 of them I take well, 4 of them I take every day. And then the rest are all as needed. So I do travel with all of these pills. So I always have a little checklist. I make sure I have them all with me, that they're all refilled, you know, days before we're getting ready to go. If it's a long trip, I would make sure that you have enough of your prescription to last you for that trip. So when we went to London and Ireland last year, I had to make sure that I had at least 10 days worth of my medicines, all of them, to get me through that amount of time while we were traveling. I don't like to use those Monday through Friday things when I travel, simply because ultimately the tabs end up falling off, and then I don't know what pill is what, and it's more work than it's worth, so I just travel with all of my pills. Make sure you have, so make sure you have your medication. I would know your diagnoses and have whoever you're traveling with know them as well. And make a little med card, especially those of you who are diabetic, or, you know, take some kind of medication to regulate things, and you absolutely have to have it. For me, you know, if I miss my thyroid medicine, it's not going to harm me. But if for some reason, you know, you got in an accident and you were unconscious and you went to the hospital, you would really want to make sure that they are still able to give you medicine, especially if it's, you know, a life-saving medicine or something that you have to take every day. And then plan for the extra help. So if you do need a wheelchair, or you do need assistance getting on and off the plane, or you need one of those carts to drive you through the airport, you know, if you need those things, make sure you're preparing in advance. The last thing you want to do is end up at the airport running late for your flight and just hoping that they have someone at that immediate time to take you to your gate. Because a lot of the times you have to wait. You have to wait for the wheelchair, you have to wait to get through security, you have to wait for the car. So you really want to make sure that you're prepared for that. And I think as you travel more and more, you'll definitely get used to it. So, you know, we have a routine now, but if you're just getting started, or maybe you're just diagnosed with your, you know, autoimmune diseases or chronic illnesses, or whatever the case may be, you know, take a minute to really have a plan for when you're going through the airports. We live near 3 very large airports. They're international airports. Nothing is easy about them. You know, from getting out of the car just to get in the airport, to getting through the airport, to getting to the gate, it's quite the marathons. Or, you know, there's no sprints here, it's all marathons. So, you know, being prepared, making sure that you know what you need when you get to the airport. The second thing is get there early. My husband hates this. He absolutely hates that I am pretty insistent that we are at the airport at a minimum an hour and a half before our flight. So I get paranoid that, you know, we're at the wrong airport, which I did go to the wrong airport with him on our 10-year wedding anniversary. So that is a likely scenario, especially since my brain just doesn't work the way that it does before. My brain doesn't work now the way that it did before all of my surgeries and probably this medication and these diagnoses and, you know, diagnoses and all this stuff. Like, look, I can't even talk. So I try to really make sure that we are always there on time. Or early, because the last thing that I want is to rush. I don't want to be rushed. It really severely raises my anxiety levels, my stress levels, which then are migraine triggers for me. It triggers inflammation for me. Like, I need to just have it be at peace. So the last time we went to the airport was the Friday after Thanksgiving. We were coming home from Ohio, and we were at the Columbus airport, which that's a pretty easy airport, and I'm really sad that we don't live near it anymore. But anyway, we got up at before the butt crack of dawn to go to the airport, drove an hour and a half. We get there, we walk into the terminal, we're like an hour and a half early. We are the only people in the terminal. The only people. I don't even think there was someone, I mean, they probably were working, but they were probably drinking their coffee in the back. Like, what kind of an idiot comes to the airport this early the day after Thanksgiving? Me. This idiot. This huge hot mess. I go to the airport that early because I just can't handle it. I can't handle waiting in lines. I can't handle running through airports. So for us, for my marriage, for my own mental health and sanity, we get there early. The third thing is, if you need assistance, I would make sure that you're talking to the flight attendants and the gate operators and even the people who are tagging your luggage. They can offer a lot of advice and assistance about, if you have special needs, if you do need extra something, or you do have allergies, they might be able to help you more than if you're just researching on the airport. So don't be afraid to explain your situation. Never be embarrassed about your issues or your disability or your, autoimmune diseases or your chronic illness. Never, ever, ever let that get in the way of you getting the help that you need when you're, out in public, especially at places like airports. 4, this is kind of obvious, but I've purchased a lot of things kind of on and off over the years to make myself comfortable at the airport and on the airplanes. So if you have a special needs diet, if you're gluten-free, make sure you have snacks for yourself, because the last thing you want to do is end up somewhere where the only thing you can get is like a brown banana. Because I've been there. I was gluten-free for many years, and that's the last place that you'd want to be, is somewhere where you can't get food. The other thing is, if you have chronic neck pain or back pain, invest in something that is going to help you in the seat of the plane. Pick a seat that is more comfortable. So, if you're more comfortable in the aisles, make sure that you're trying to get those, or ask someone to switch from you. I don't think there's anything wrong with trying to make yourself as comfortable as possible. On our trip to London, I did end up purchasing, it was like a hammock for the bottom of the seat in front of me, so I could actually move my legs and get some circulation and put my legs up instead of being, all tight into the seat for 6.5 hours. I had the pillow thing, I had the eye thing, the eye covers, I had my earplugs, I had fragrance-free lotion, I had face moisturizer, anything I could think of, chapstick that I might need on the plane, I had it with me. And the last thing, this is something that if you've watched my other videos, you know that I do reselling to basically pay for my medical bills and to contribute to my family, since I can't work a full-time job. So I'd rather be self-employed anyway. It works out just fine. However, I have learned that spending a little bit of money on luxury items, I guess you could call TSA PreCheck a luxury item, but spending a little bit of money on things that are that will help you at the airport, to me, is worth it. So, we have the United credit card so that gets you a silver status, I think, or I don't know. One of them gets you, one of our United things gets us silver status, which means our bags come off, which means, they come off sooner. We have access to the lounges when there's United lounges. We get to board the plane first. And all of those things help your experience at the airport. So being able to drop your luggage off at a separate counter without 400 people, totally amazing. Going through TSA PreCheck without having to unload everything, take everything out, take off your shoes, take off your coat, take off your belt, like all of these things, right? Being able to seamlessly go through security is another huge thing. Then, you know, when you get to your gate, if you want to get there early like we do, we have the Lounge Buddy or the Lounge, I don't know, what are the lounge programs? I think it's Priority Pass Lounge. And we can go into the lounges and relax, and there's usually food and drinks in there. There's a bathroom, some of them have showers. They're really amazing. And if you know how to manipulate credit card points and rewards things, or you just have extra money that you want to pay to make it a little bit more convenient for you, I highly recommend it. And I'm not saying go out and spend a fortune and get first class tickets and do all of these things, but there are certain things that you can build into your travel budget for like maybe $100 and get a little bit of a better experience, which on the flip side will then help you get to your destination a little bit less stressed out, a little bit less anxious, feeling a little bit better about the whole situation, and hopefully not causing you to have flare-ups and crazy things like that where you are really going to struggle. It might ruin your trip. You know, as soon as you get off the plane, you get a migraine. I want people to know that you can travel, and I mean, you can apply these. I'm specifically talking about airports because I know they are challenging to navigate, but a lot of these things you can do when you're traveling anywhere, in the car, you're going on a train, you're going on a bus, whatever the case may be. You know, you can use these tips to make your travel experiences a little bit better. Because, I mean, as much fun as it is traveling with this huge ass thing of pills, I at least know that I have everything that I need. And I know that I will be okay on that front, because those are almost the most important things for me. I guess one last thing is, because I do suffer from chronic migraines, sometimes we do end up at urgent care. I do try to find an in-network urgent care that is right around our hotel or wherever we're staying. And that way, I'm a disaster. So the last thing that I want to do is be worried about trying to find somewhere to just go get my migraine shots and call it a day. So I try to be prepared when it comes to that too. I don't always do that, but if I know that I'm going to be there, if I know I've got something that's going to be a trigger, then flying typically is a migraine trigger for me. So I really have to be careful about, making sure that I'm following all of these things. I'm very smell sensitive, scent sensitive. I'm pretty sure that I have dog-like senses. I can smell things that I'm pretty sure no one else can. Stress gives me migraines and headaches, and for me to make traveling a more pleasant and easier experience makes our trip better, makes my relationship better. He knows what to expect when we travel. He knows the plan, and it's not a disheveled mess like sometimes it used to be. So I hope these tips help you. And if you need any other help, please don't hesitate I try to reply to everybody's comments, but if I keep getting the same comment, then at least I can make a video on it about how I handle different situations, or if you need help with something else. If you need help paying your medical bills, or you need help with ideas on working while you have a chronic illness, please check out my other videos, because I do offer a lot of advice on how you can go about doing that, and how I saved, probably by now it's $20,000 this year to afford my specialist and my surgery that I had in March. So it can be done. It takes a little bit of work. It takes a lot of work sometimes, but it can be done, and you should never, ever, ever have to suffer unnecessarily when there are solutions to issues like this. So I hope your next flight is amazing and you fly the friendly skies. I don't know, who is that? United? Probably. Whatever. I don't know. So I'll see you next time, and of course, thank you for watching. Bye.